Elias, he asked, what makes you motivated to be the number one batsman in the world, and what needs to be followed by a young player to be a good T20 player?
Oh, gosh, I think T20 cricket now, you have to have the power. I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you could get away with just boundaries and just hitting fours. I think you have to be able to have the power to hit sixes when it's needed now. I think the game has changed dramatically. You only have to watch some of these T20 leagues and some of the international games that go on, how 220, 230 can be chased down pretty easily. You look at someone like Virat Kohli, who's one of the best all-format players around the world. He's hit over 20 IPL sixes. For a guy who you probably don't think hits a lot of sixes, he hits a hell of a lot of sixes. It's that's the way it goes. So I think you have to have that power. I still think the basics in T20 are key. There's not many T20 players around the world that have been the successful T20 players in the world that haven't played Test cricket and done well at Test cricket at some point. So I think having those basics in play and just having options, if you can have the options and be able to take the right options at the right time and have no fear taking those options, I believe the T20 game will go in the right direction very quickly.
Okay, so Moshir asked, Dawid, what will be your suggestion for the current Bangladesh cricket team to do well in T20 cricket? I'm sure you follow Bangladesh team, yeah.
Yeah, I follow all cricket. As we spoke earlier, you've got friends and things in different teams that you sort of follow and you hope they do well. Look, I think Bangladesh have got an extremely talented team. They've got some unbelievable players. I think the key for them is just to put it all together at the time. They definitely have the players to do that. I'm not, it's not for me to comment on what they have to do. I think that's the coach and the captain's job to work that out. So I need to be treading a line, but I definitely think they have the players to sort of challenge, especially with the World Cup coming up in subcontinent conditions. It plays the strength of Bangladesh as well. So hopefully they can put it together. Hopefully it's not against England. Hopefully they can not put that together if England play against Bangladesh in that World Cup. But you hope they all do well.
Yeah, good answer. Fab asked, hi, Dawid, I have a question for you. How much your experience of playing in slow turning tracks in BPL, the Bangladesh Premier League, will help to prepare better for the upcoming T20 World Cup?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, the T20 World Cup, we don't really know where it's going to be, and we also don't know who's going to be playing that. I'd love to play in that, but that's not up to me. So, on the chance that I was to make it to that World Cup with England, I think playing in the Bangladesh Premier League has taught me a hell of a lot about playing on turning wickets. I think the beauty of Bangladesh is that you can play on a wicket today could be a 200 wicket, and you play on it tomorrow, and it's a 120 wicket, and it turns. One skids and one turns, and I think that's the beauty of having to learn to adapt and having a game to be able to play on both, because it's very easy to just have a game that suits one. I think I've learned a lot. Even batting in the nets. Sometimes you rock up and you face spin in the nets, and it's an absolute belt wicket, and you're able to hit the spin everywhere. And then the next day you walk in and it's turning square. So you learn different game plans. You learn different ways of scoring. I don't think it's ever easy when it's. I think the tough thing, especially when you're batting first, is to work out what's a good score. Because as I said, it takes one guy to hit Chancey's arm and hit 20 and over, and you get that 150, and the game's over if you hit 150. So it is tough, but it's been a great learning curve.
Yes, and you've done really well in the latest Bangladesh Premier League. You played for Kumilla Warriors, and you scored 444 runs. That's a whole lot of runs. And as I've said, like subcontinent's wickets are not easy to bat on, especially for an English cricketer. So anything special you did in the nets or with the coaches that helped you to adapt?
No, I think the one thing that people don't notice as well is, when you play in these tournaments, whether it be PSL or Bangladesh Premier League or IPL, you end up just batting in positions that suit the team. Ultimately, I'm an opening batsman. That's the position I bat in. I bat 3 for England. But every time I rock up in these tournaments, I end up having to bat 4 and 5, just because you're a left-hander, especially in the subcontinent, left-arm spinners and leggies, and because you bat 3 for England and have batted 3, they sort of think that you can slot in those middle orders. And I think that's probably been the biggest learning curve, is just because I open the batting in county cricket. That's what I've done so well over the years to get me the opportunity to play for England and to earn that right to play for England. Suddenly you're batting at 4 and 5 in these tournaments, on wickets, turning wickets. People look at strike rates and look at runs and look at all these things, but they don't look at the positions you're batting in, if you're batting in and out of position. So, that's probably been the biggest learning curve for me, is when you go to Bangladesh and these places, you bat out of position, so that it actually teaches you a different skill from what you're actually used to. So it adds extra bows to your string. I would love to keep the batting in the subcontinent. I mean, that year where I scored 440, I opened the batting once and I got 100. And then I didn't open the batting again. I ended up batting 4 and 5 in the game. So it does get frustrating, but it teaches you so many new skills.